If maintaining your sourdough starter feels high maintenance and even wasteful, the problem isn't you. It might be how much starter you are keeping. Many home bakers don't know how much of an established starter they need to keep. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 different quantities of starter and how to use and maintain them without it overcomplicating the sourdough process. In most cases, bakers are told to keep large amounts of starter, just in case. But more starter means more feedings, more discard, more flour wasted, and more responsibility. And when it comes to choosing how much starter to keep, that will depend on how much dough you are making, how often you are baking in a given week. Do you want to use your starter right out of the fridge, like how I teach in the Sourdough Made Simple? Or do you want to feed it and get it to be happy and active before making the dough? Before we dive into this, let's cover some of the important basic information about feeding and maintaining an established sourdough starter. I want to emphasize that if you are still building your starter from scratch, aka it's less than 10 days old, continue to follow your starting a starter process. Check out the How to Start a Sourdough Starter video for that process. The information in this video is in regards to maintaining an established starter. When it comes to maintaining a sourdough starter, for a starter to be considered fed, you need to feed at least its weight. So if you have 100 grams of starter, you will feed it 100 grams of food, which is 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of water. That is the minimum amount that you need to feed it. Otherwise, you're not giving it enough food to grow. That would be a ratio of 1 to half to half. So if you have a lot of starter, let's say 200 grams, in order to minimally feed it, you will need to at least add 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water. Are you with me? So then on the other side, the max that I personally want to feed a starter is 5 times the size of my starter. The ratio would be 1 to 5 to 5. 100 grams of starter would be multiplied by 5 to get the weight of flour and water. So 5 times 100 equals 500 grams of flour and 500 grams of water. You can feed it up to 10 times to a ratio of 1 to 10 to 10. But for 100 grams of starter, that's going to be a lot of starter. For example, I will multiply 100 by 10, which would give me 1,000. So I would add 1,000 grams of flour and 1,000 grams of water. By the way, 1,000 grams of flour is about 8 cups of flour. So once that is all fed and has doubled, you will have 16 plus cups of starter. But if I convert that using just 10 grams of starter, so if my initial starter is only 10 grams and I multiply that by 10, then I'm only adding 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water, which will leave me with about 200 grams of fed starter, 210. But to be honest, in my opinion, that's too much food and can overwhelm the starter. So that's why my rule of thumb is not to feed it more than 5 times, especially when we're dealing with a smaller quantity of starter to begin with. So what's important is to remember that we do need to feed it something to keep it alive and at least its size. So we're going to start with 50 grams of starter. So you can keep just a small amount of starter in your refrigerator. This method has the least amount of waste. This requires very little flour to maintain it. It's easy to feed and manage. There's no discard. It's simple to build up when you want to bake. And this is ideal for somebody who also wants to always clean their jar. Like you've seen in some of my other videos, I don't clean this jar. I don't change it from time to time. But if that is important to you, this method might be better for you. So how do we use it? How do we feed this? So this will be covered, lightly covered in the refrigerator, so it's not drying out. I'll pull it out of the refrigerator. I will use all of this and put it into another larger jar. I will feed it 50 grams or however much I want to. I can 50 grams of the starter, 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of water. I'll mix and I'll let that double. Once that has doubled, I will remove out of the grown one 50 grams. I'll put it back in my small jar. I'll loosely cover it and I'll put it back in the refrigerator until the next day before dough day. What happens is I'll use what I fed in my recipe to make my bread. You tracking? All right. And so that is like a very minimalist way to keep your starter. Some pros to this: it takes up hardly any space in the fridge. It's a small enough amount to travel with. So even this, if I was going to be going on vacation or taking a longer trip where I wanted to be able to make bread, I might bring a smaller amount of starter with me, not my big mama. This is good if you're wanting to use a bubbly active starter when you're making your dough. As people, if you have been following me, you know that in my sourdough made simple process, I use my starter at any point that it's at. I'm not building it to a certain activity level and then using it in my dough. So it's a little bit more laid back. Some of the cons are that you have to bulk up the starter before you can make your dough. This is done the night before. You have to remember, another con is you have to remember to take some out of the starter that you built up to put it back in. Otherwise, you will risk using it all and then you won't have your starter. And then also, it may not be enough starter if you're going to be making a lot of dough, and then that may require a couple days to bulk up your starter to have enough to make a lot of dough. The other quantity is to keep about 200 grams of starter. So I also want to say that I actually don't pay much attention to how much starter I keep. I try to do as little math as possible when I'm baking. So I just am following, I do like the eyeball method, which I do have a video on here about that, but I know that I'm making the same amount of bread every week and I pull about 100 or so grams from this and it's about half of it. So we're gonna just call this 200 grams of starter. Just pulled this out of the fridge. If I was going to be making dough, I would just pull out half of it and then just use that to make my bread. I didn't have to do anything with this the day before to get it ready. And so then I will just feed this, there will be 100 grams left. So I'll just feed this like at least 50 grams of water and 50 grams of flour. And then that will get me back up to the 200. This doubles. Once this doubles, then I stick it back in the fridge. Keeping this quantity is great for the spontaneous home baker. So if you're like, oh, I want to make bread, you don't have to bulk up your starter and then make your dough. You can just use this right out of the refrigerator, make your dough, and have bread by the end of the day. And in some cases, if you use active yeast, you can have it within 4 hours. So like there's a lot of flexibility in having 200 grams of starter. Other thing is having this much starter, if I wanted to make sourdough pancakes or sourdough waffles or sourdough banana bread, there's still enough in here that I can pull from it, make my other baked goods sourdough, and still have enough to make bread in the same feeding cycle. So this is actually my preferred amount to keep. Cons, this would not be a good amount to keep if you plan on feeding your starter before you make your dough. So some people like to have a live, like an active, bubbly starter before they make their bread. in order to do that, as you can see, mine, this is still an active and live starter, but it doesn't have the big bubbles in it. And some people want the big bubbles when they're going to make their bread. I haven't seen a big enough difference in my bread loaves to make that part of my regular routine. So, but because in order to get that, I would have to discard some of this and then feed it and then it double and then I'll be able to use it. And so that the first method, keeping a smaller amount of starter when you have that preference, would be ideal, versus this where you have to feed it 50 grams or 100 grams of flour to bulk it up. All right, so how do I use this? Like I had said, I take it out of the fridge. I use half of what I have in my, like, is 100 grams to mix my dough. I feed my starter and let it double, and then I put it back in the fridge and it is ready for my next dough day. Some of the pros, it's ready to go. It saves me time because I can use it right away. And when I feed it, it is doubling alongside of my dough. Some of the cons, if you use the discard method, this would be a wasteful amount to keep on hand. All right, and then the next amount of starter is a lot, and I do once a week. I do build up my starter so that I have over 500 grams of starter. So this is my bulk starter that I have. So I run a micro bakery where during certain weeks, I'm making 100 loaves of bread. I teach sourdough starter classes and sourdough classes. So I'm making bread and I'm sharing my starter with all of my in-person participants. And so like I need a lot of starter. And so what I do is I will take 100 grams of this, of my Big Mama, and I will bulk it up 5 times. And so then I have like over 500 grams of starter that I have. And then whatever I don't use, I will just keep in the fridge for the week, because I have 2 or 3 classes a week. So I'll use it within that week. I don't recommend this for home bakers who do not use this or need to make this much bread. So if you find yourself with even more than 200 grams of starter, you already have too much. So let me know in the comments if you want to know how I prep my dough in that quantity for farmers markets, and we can dive deeper into that in another video. So again, keeping 500 grams of starter is best for bakeries, micro bakeries, or just very high volume productions. So if you're going to make a lot of loaves for like gifts or Christmas or that kind of stuff, then yeah, you're gonna need a lot of starter. But I only bulk up my starter once a week or so as needed. I don't maintain it at that point. You can always grow your starter wherever it's at. So again, what do? I keep about 200 grams of starter because I know that it is ready when I need to mix dough for the family, but I also have enough starter that I can increase it in one build up for my bakery's dough date. So if I use this amount, I would have to have 2 days worth of building up to get it to this quantity. And that's just 2 more days of mixing starter that I don't want to do. So I do believe that starter isn't meant to be stored in bulk. It's meant to be grown when needed. And if I didn't have a bakery, I still think I would keep around 200 grams because I'm more of a spontaneous baker. And also, if I used all of my starter to build up what was needed for my dough, I know that I would forget to pull some out. So this first method for me personally, I would forget that I need to save some after I feed it. So I'm a little bit out of sight, out of mind. And I know that I could probably build that habit, but it doesn't come naturally to me. So I have opted just to always have what I need available to me. So even if I do forget, I still have some left over. And that is it kind of takes some of the stress out of baking sourdough. So my recommendation is try any of these methods out and see which one is more natural to you. So there's no right or wrong way, but if you do feel like it is too overwhelming, try keeping less starter. When you feel more comfortable, the more confidence you will build and the more likely you will be to continue to bake bread. Adjusting the process to you will make baking bread more sustainable. But before we can make those adjustments, we need to understand why we're doing what we are doing. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it, and subscribe to my channel. We'll see you in the next video.